On one hand, there is the production of knowledge, which I think it's not only, in the past it was like concentrated in the north, but now you see already the production of knowledge being already shifting to the south as well. That's one part, which urge for more cooperation rather than transfer of knowledge from north to south. So that's one part of it. On the other hand, what we also increasingly understand is that knowledge in itself, technical knowledge, is not enough for development. What you need is a social organization around the knowledge in order to use the knowledge to the benefit of the people, for economic growth in general, but also for social affairs. So what is needed now is the human knowledge or the human infrastructure that values the knowledge, the technical knowledge that we use to transfer to the developing countries. I think that the role of universities is also changing along the same paths as I just explained. Not just transferring knowledge from north to south, but especially also seeking collaboration with the institutes in the south, in the developing countries, since they're upgrading very quickly. And there are so many good universities now in the southern hemisphere. Mm-hmm. That's what our role has to be, I think, is seeking cooperation with the best institutes there in order to deliver out to other parts of the world over there. That means also other universities. So, for example, we work together with the university in South Africa in order to deliver out to Zambia, to the University of Zambia, but also to cooperate with universities and the knowledge centers in the south in order to deliver out to civil servants, to the technology centers, to companies, to the people in the south. So not necessarily only to the universities, but also to the other agents in the country, NGOs as well. Well, apart from immigration policy, I think there is a lot of tradition. Like people tend to go in the south, tend to go to their old colonizer. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people go to the UK. Apart from that, a lot of people go to the United States because it's a big country. It's most of the teaching and the migration is done and the work is done in English, which is a language a lot of people know. Now, very few people in India or in Pakistan or in Ghana or Zambia will learn Dutch in order to work for a Dutch company. So they will learn English. So that makes that people are attracted by the fact that not the language that they know is spoken somewhere. And so people don't expect to speak Dutch or Danish or Swedish or even Italian. Spanish and French, it's slightly different. That's one point. On the other hand, I think that we in the Nordic countries, and I include the Netherlands and part of Scandinavia, our immigration policy has become so stringent now that it discourages people to come. Discourage them. So I don't think we are very kind to people who want to work here. We make it very difficult to immigrate. Once they are here, it's also not very easy to stay here. So if we want to attract the intelligent or not the intelligent people, the well-educated people, well-trained people from the south, I think we should revise part of our immigration policy in order to attract them. On the other hand, I also think that we should make a bigger effort to stimulate circular migration. So making sure that these people are going back, probably together with some people of us. Some of us going back there and contribute to economic growth. I think that's something that's going to happen. And I think we, and I include most of Western continental European countries, should adapt to that and adapt our immigration policy to that. I would not be able to put it that firmly because I didn't do any research about it. So it would be unfair for me to make that conclusion. It's my feeling that that's the case, that, well, it's definitely true that a lot of high-skilled workers go to Anglo-Saxon countries, and this includes the UK and the United States, but also Canada and Australia. And Australia and Canada have a very specific policy on that, which is pretty successful. So in that sense, they profit from it. It's also true that these countries give a lot back to the developing countries as well. So in terms of aid, but also in terms of educated people going back to their countries. Nowadays, we work in China with a research institute, which is the entire 10 people, senior staff, are all been educated and have their PhDs from either US universities or European universities. And they are now there. And it's very easy to work for them. They all speak English very well. And they're used to work with us because they worked with us here. Mm-hmm. They were not colleagues of me here, but they were colleagues of other colleagues. So they're used to the culture. So I think that we will find very soon in many countries across the world. And then one day, I think the opposite will happen as well. Yeah. We will have PhD from University of Beijing or Beijing University or Tsinghua University or other universities that will come to us, and we will just treat them as our own. Dreams that you dream of once in a love. Well, the danger of the brain drain are obvious in specific professions more than in others. Like, I think the danger of the brain drain is especially important in the health professions. And it's also quantitatively important in health professions. So, which I think leads to kind of Robin Hood in reverse, because these people are educated, often paid by either the taxpayers in their home countries, or their families in their country, where this and this money is invested by them, or not by themselves, but by the public, and by their families. And then these people come here, and we didn't contribute to their education at all. In fact, we more or less free ride on the investments that have been made in developing countries, and we use them as nurses and doctors in our own countries because we have shortages in this case. So I think for this kind of professions, we might just contribute. We should probably pay for dedication of the people that we attract. That will increase their price, but for a good reason, because that can be invested in doctors and nurses that they need in the countries. In some countries nowadays, there are more nurses outside the country, in developed countries, than there are nurses in the country itself, which is for some countries very, very dreadful, because they need health professionals over there. Now, that's for this category, and this may be true also for some of the engineering professions, or some of including software engineering and things like that. Because the quality of the education in some countries, like in India and China, is very good. In other cases, I don't think we exploit that much and we profit that much, and it's much more open in the sense that people come to our countries, and I see our countries, say the northern hemisphere, are educated, we contribute to their education, and then they go back. Okay. And I think so. I don't think we should stop the brain drain. I think we should make a serious cost-benefit analysis and pay where the costs are made. And if that is in a developing country, then we should pay that. It's more or less like how we handle telephone bills and post packages, because they're sent every year. They send post packages over from one country to the other, and every year we calculate what's the net and we compensate for that. It's fair enough. We can do that for the investment in human capital as well, but we will need, a clearinghouse doing that, which probably should be organized or at least at the EU level, but probably also at the UN level. And the dreams that you dream of, dreams